नमस्कार दोस्तों, वेलकम टू लाइफ एक्सप्रेस वेयर देयर इज नो ड्रामा, नो फेक, ओनली फैक्ट्स टू कीप यू अवेक। जी हाँ, सही सुना आपने। लाइफ एक्सप्रेस एक ऐसी दुनिया है, एक ऐसा एकेडमिक प्लेटफॉर्म है जहाँ हम बेमतलब की बातें नहीं करते, क्योंकि यहाँ बातें होती है सिर्फ रियल लाइफ के, रियल लोगों के, रियल अचीवमेंट्स की, और बातें होती है रियल नॉलेज की अंडर भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा, जिसकी बुनियाद वसुधैव कुटुंबकम पर आधारित है। वसुधैव कुटुंबकम यानी द होल वर्ल्ड इज आवर फैमिली। भले ही वसुधैव कुटुंबकम और अतिथि देवो भव का पालन करते करते हिंदुस्तान को भारी नुकसान उठाना पड़ा, लेकिन आज हर भारतीय को ये कहते हुए काफ़ी गर्व होता है कि भारत एक ऐसा देश है जिसने आज तक ना ही किसी पे आक्रमण किया और ना ही किसी पे राज किया। हाँ, हमने पूरी दुनिया पे राज किया, लेकिन उनके अधिकार, अस्तित्व एवं संस्कृति को छीन कर नहीं, बल्कि उनके दिलों पर राज किया, अपनी प्राचीन सभ्यता एवं संस्कृति और फिलॉसफी की खुशबू बिखेर कर। इसी भारतीय परंपरा को आगे बढ़ाते हुए लाइफ एक्सप्रेस अपने मिशन पे आप सभी के सहयोग से आगे बढ़ रही है, जिसमें मेरा यही प्रयास है कि भारतीय संस्कृति एवं ज्ञान प्रणाली का समुचित अध्ययन कर उसके भाव को, उसमें निहित संदेश को आपके सामने, वर्ल्ड सोसाइटी के सामने प्रस्तुत करूं, क्योंकि आज पूरी दुनिया में एक नहीं कई कारणों से अनेक प्रकार के संकट के बादल मंडरा रहे हैं। खूनी युद्ध चल रहे हैं परिवार में, समाज में, राष्ट्र में और पूरे विश्व में। पूरी दुनिया आज एक सोसाइटल मॉडल ऑफ लिविंग ढूंढ रही है, जिसे अपनाकर वो शांति और सौहार्द के साथ जी सके। लेकिन अफसोस, दुनिया के पास ऐसा कोई मॉडल नहीं है। लेकिन चिंता की कोई बात नहीं है, क्योंकि भारत के पास ऐसा सोसाइटल मॉडल ऑफ लिविंग है जिसे अपनाकर हम पूरे विश्व में शांति और उन्नति का मार्ग प्रशस्त कर सकते हैं। और उसी मॉडल को हम आज भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा के रूप में देख रहे हैं। तो चलते हैं कार्यक्रम के अगले सेगमेंट हॉल ऑफ फेम की ओर, जहां हम मिलेंगे एक ऐसी शख्सियत से जो वाकई समाज के लिए एक रियल रोल मॉडल हैं, अपने उत्कृष्ट एवं सराहनीय कार्यों के चलते। लेकिन हम में से अधिकांश लोग उनकी उपलब्धि या अचीवमेंट से आज भी बेखबर हैं। नमस्कार दोस्तों, आज के हॉल ऑफ फेम में हमारे साथ एक बहुत ही खास मेहमान हैं, जिनके जीवन से जुड़े कई रोचक तथ्य हैं। इससे पहले कि हम उन रोचक तथ्यों को जाने उन्हीं की जुबानी, मैं चाहूंगा कि सबसे पहले मैं आपको अपने विशेष अतिथि का एक संक्षिप्त परिचय दे दूं। वैसे तो हमारे आज के विशेष अतिथि किसी परिचय या पहचान के मोहताज नहीं हैं, लेकिन औपचारिकता का निर्वहन करते हुए मुझे ये बताते हुए अपार हर्ष की अनुभूति हो रही है कि लाइफ एक्सप्रेस के इस हफ्ते के हॉल ऑफ फेम में हमारे साथ जो विशेष अतिथि ऑनलाइन हमसे जुड़े हैं, वे हैं अ रिनाउंड इंडियन आर्मी ऑफिसर एंड अ ग्रेट कम्युनिकेशन एक्सपर्ट, अ टीचर एज वेल एज अ टीचर ट्रेनर with more than 4 decades of life experience. Yes, I'm talking of Colonel Anil Gulati. कर्नल अनिल गुलाटी का जन्म 29 अगस्त 1948 को हरियाणा के बवानी खेरा के एक शिक्षित परिवार में हुआ था। बचपन से ही अपनी विलक्षण प्रतिभा एवं उत्कृष्ट कार्यों के बदौलत उन्होंने समाज में अपनी एक अलग पहचान बना ली थी। यदि हम उनके शैक्षणिक जीवन पर प्रकाश डालें तो हम पाते हैं कि उन्होंने अपनी प्रारंभिक, माध्यमिक तथा उच्च शिक्षा अव्वल दर्जे से सफलतापूर्वक पूरी की। Since education was highly prized, or I can say prioritized, in his family, as all his brothers and sisters were pursuing careers ranging from medicine, engineering, and teaching, he also did his schooling up to 8th standard in Siwani and then joined the renowned Sai Das School. Having completed his BSc in Agriculture Economics, he was commissioned into the army. Well in time to participate in Bangla Liberation War of 1971. During his 31-year army career, he held several dignified positions, including prestigious appointments in School of Artillery and DRDO before assuming command of a medium regiment in Kashmir at the peak of insurgency. And I should not forget to add that Colonel Gulati has been felicitated with several awards at national and international levels for his contributions to mankind at large. Thus, there are so many accolades and achievements to his name, and to know more about Colonel Anil Gulati, I will take you to online platform of Life Express, where Colonel Anil Gulati had joined. And pleasure is solely mine in welcoming one and only the great icon of Indian Army and a great communication expert, Colonel Anil Gulati. Namaskar, sir. First of all, on behalf of my entire Life Express team and on behalf of my intellectual viewers, I extend a very warm welcome and sincere gratitude to you for your gracious presence in Life Express.
Thank you for providing me this opportunity. In fact, as you know, I'm a fan of Life Express because every time I find there's some takeaway, whether on personal life, professional life, or even it helps me in connecting with my roots. So I'm so happy that you're taking this initiative. More power to you.
Thank you, sir. सर, आपके जीवन यात्रा को देखने के बाद और आपका जब मैंने प्रोफाइल देखा, वो देखने के बाद पता चलता है कि आप इंडियन आर्मी में कर्नल के पद पे रहते हुए आपने भारत के लिए कई सराहनीय और साहसपूर्ण कार्य किए हैं। फिर आपने अपने करियर की दूसरी इनिंग शुरू की एक एकेडमिशियन के रूप में, और उसमें भी आपने अद्भुत सफलता हासिल की, मैं कह सकता हूं। और आज आप एक मैनेजमेंट गुरु, मोटिवेटर, लाइफ कोच और पब्लिक स्पीकर के रूप में जाने जा रहे हैं, या मैं कहूंगा इफेक्टिव कम्युनिकेटर के रूप में भी जाने जा रहे हैं। और आज रिटायरमेंट के लगभग 20 साल बाद भी आपके एक्टिव लाइफस्टाइल में कोई बदलाव नहीं आया है। तो आज की चर्चा को शुरू करते हुए ना सिर्फ मैं बल्कि हमारे सभी इंटेलेक्चुअल व्यूअर्स जानना चाहेंगे आपसे कि कहां से मिलती है आपको इतनी ऊर्जा टू कीप योरसेल्फ फिट एंड फाइन। साथ में आप इस बात पे भी थोड़ा प्रकाश डालें कि क्या है जीवन के मायने आपके लिए। हाउ डू यू लुक एट लाइफ? ओवर टू यू सर।
Well, in one word, it will be self-actualization. We all have been endowed with certain qualities and blessed with certain traits, and we are duty bound to make best use of them. And this is a process that never ends. God has sent us with a purpose. Even if you go to habit number 8 by Dr. Stephen Covey, Of course, his best-known book is Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, arguably the best book ever written on personal and interpersonal effectiveness. Here we're talking of eighth habit, which goes even beyond the habits. It is you discover your mission itself. And Dr. Stephen Covey call it unique personal significance, UPS. We all are endowed with certain qualities and we must develop them. Now, this can be applied even for the career. Like I tell students, keep need, talent, passion, and conscience. And wherever it comes, you find your voice. If you see my WhatsApp DP message, it says, find your voice and inspire others to find theirs. In my context, I found my voice, what I want to pursue, and I must help others also, especially the students, to find their voices. Now, self-actualization, I took the word from Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's a management theory for motivation, wherein we start with the lowest level, wherein it is the psychological needs, the security needs, the social needs, self-esteem, and top of the list is self-actualization. That is, are you at least trying to achieve what you can? But here, one condition I always put is the happiness is not to be compromised. It doesn't imply that you don't work or go all out for it, your mission, but it implies that while doing anything, you stay happy. Don't say, once I get a degree, I get a job, I'll be happy. I said, I'm happy, I'm pursuing this job, I'm pursuing this passion, and I'm happy. That, I think, ultimately, which motivates me. Even now, I feel there's a lot to achieve. Maybe the area has got diverted slightly, and I still got to achieve. Hopefully, I do.
Great. Very thoughtful of you, sir. Very, very thoughtful of you. इस बातचीत को आगे बढ़ाते हुए मैं अब एक ऐसे बिंदु पे आना चाहूंगा जिसमें ना सिर्फ आपकी महारत है बल्कि उसमें हर कोई अपनी महारत हासिल करना चाहता है एक सक्सेसफुल करियर के लिए। जी हाँ, मैं बात कर रहा हूं कम्युनिकेशन की। कम्युनिकेशन एक ऐसी चीज है जिसमें मुझे लगता है कि थोड़ी भी वीकनेस आई या ब्रेकडाउन हुआ तो हमारे सारे रिलेशन नेगेटिवली प्रभावित होते हैं, चाहे वो घर में हो या वर्क प्लेस पे हो या जीवन के किसी भी क्षेत्रों में। और जब इफेक्टिव कम्युनिकेशन के गूढ़ को समझने की बात आए तो मुझे लगता है कि nobody can enlighten us better than you on the front of communication. तो यहां मेरे 2-in-1 क्वेश्चन है या 2 क्वेश्चंस कंबाइंड हैं। चूंकि आप एक इफेक्टिव कम्युनिकेटर एंड पब्लिक स्पीकर हैं, तो सबसे पहले हम आपसे समझेंगे कि इफेक्टिव कम्युनिकेशन एंड सॉफ्ट स्किल्स है क्या आपके लिए, और सेकेंडली what it takes to be an effective communicator with ethical considerations in the backdrop. Over to you, sir.
Well, we start understanding the part effective itself. There's a difference between efficiency and effectiveness. Effectiveness is desired outcome. So I'm grateful to you that you brought out importance of communication, and not only in professional life and personal life. Professional life, in any case, it is the survival, and same is true for the personal life, because a lot of problems, or for that matter, every problem starts with miscommunication. Now, how to improve communication? My mantra is have synergy between 4 pillars of communication. Some books call it dimensions, some types of communication, but ultimately there are 4 pillars of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. I'll elaborate on all these 3. And even if you take MIT syllabus, for example, in UG, first 4 semesters are in that sequence, and 5th comes employability skills. Because by that time, through these 4 pillars, your foundations have become strong. Synergy means reinforcement, support of each other. Now, I read, I write better, I listen, I speak better, and everything supports each other. We'll take each of these 4 dimensions individually and then create a kind of synergy between 4.
Excellent.
Now, listening is never taught. We are all taught how to speak, how to read, how to write. No one taught us listening, and all the time we think we are listening. Actually, we are hearing. Hearing is different from listening. Hearing is merely a physical act where sound waves strike your eardrum, waves are produced, and mind interprets them. Listening is the basics of communication, I'll call it. That is why it is in the first semester, because that is how you understand. Understand an issue, understand people. So listening is very, very important. It's a starting point of communication. Like, let's take personal examples. I find a lot of people having problem with their teens these days, adolescents, 18s, 19s. This is well covered in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Dr. Stephen Covey, somebody approached him that he's having problem with his teenage son. And he said, I don't understand my son. He just doesn't listen to me. Now, Dr. Covey made him repeat this sentence 5 times. I don't understand my son. He doesn't listen to me. And then he said, to understand, I thought, you are the one who must be listening. Do we listen? I'm afraid not very much. Even our communication with our teenagers, adolescents, the quality is not good enough. Most of the time we say, they're not taking haircut. Look at your room, how dirty, mess. I mean, don't try to understand. And if I want to extend the argument further, there's a habit number 5 called seek first to understand and then be understood. And there are a lot of good examples given. One example which I modified to suit Indian conditions is +2 boy comes home, joins parents for lunch, and everything is going very smoothly. And then he says, I want to become a mechanic. One sentence, I want to become a mechanic. How did the father react? Immediately bounced. I saved every penny so that you could become an automobile engineer. तो अपने चाचे के बेटे को देख, जर्मनी में engineering कर रहा है and things of that sort. And moment after that monologue of 3 minutes, the father stopped, the mother comes in. Beta, you don't understand. Your father never took a cab. He used to even walk to the office so that you could become an engineer. All he said was, I want to become a mechanic. Did they try to understand? Why he's saying that? Is he having problem with those subjects? Then possibly a tuition can be arranged. Or he feels he's not designed for that subject. Then maybe liberal arts has got as much as avenues as possible. But no, they started imposing. So this is where the communication lacks. Communication will never be effective unless you understand the person. And listening has got various levels. These days, most of the books say active listening. Active listening is once you're speaking, I nod, facial expression, ask intelligent questions, I paraphrase certain things. But there's a level even above empathic listening. Listening with the intent to understand, not listen with your ears only, with your eyes, with your heart, with an intent to understand. So listening, I think, is most important. Coming to the job specific, I normally recommend to the students, listen to the radio news. Good old pronunciation, vocabulary, diction, they all come in a radio. We are distracted by the TV, so possibly listening is not as good. Now come to the speaking part. Listening, reading, writing, they all help your speaking, no doubt about it. But the bottom line is still this, you need to speak. And as teachers, we are duty bound to ensure that our student speaks. Not only a CS teacher, you, pol science teacher, history teacher, computer science teacher. And we've implemented. But let me come back to the speaking part first, wherein one of the faculty had not come on that particular day. She had some problem with the child, and I had to rushed to block C to take a class. I had never taken civil and mechanical engineers until then. So
Mhm.
one night I spoke. When I came out, a lot of students followed me. They said, I want to become a good speaker. Now all they were looking for, some mantra, some shortcut, some quick fix. I said, after the break, when I come to the class, please ask me that question. One of them got up.
Mhm.
I want to improve my speaking. I said, there's a counter question for you. How do you improve your swimming? He
Mhm.
said, by jumping into the pool. I said, same way you learn public speaking. I'm so
Mhm.
fascinated by my own sentence that my slide has got a young boy in the sky jumping into the pool.
Mhm.
He said, we'll provide you a lot of pools. This classroom is
Mhm.
one, we'll encourage you. To that extent, for some time at least, I was able to motivate the two sisters we had. One of them was teaching pol science, the other was teaching history. I said, you carry out revision every day. Why not carry out
Mhm.
revision through the students and from those students who are relatively shy of speaking? It worked. Now, other
Mhm.
pools, my own recommendation is this. On top of my list is group discussion, GD. There are 10 marks even in the syllabus. More importantly, GD is the most cost benefit analysis in case you carry out. GD comes on top without any competitor because
Mhm.
8, 10 students sitting at the same time, they are given a topic, they start discussing. It's not out shouting, they understand the topic, they listen to others, give all their own responses and then speak, and then GD etiquette also come into being. I was
Mhm.
so impressed, I in fact forced certain students to speaking in the class wherever they didn't. I said, you'll
Mhm.
not get up from your chair until you speak. The next batch comes and the third batch comes, but you'll not speak.
Mhm.
And it worked. And after
Mhm.
some incidents, I found a very sweet note in my on my table. Thank you for forcing me to speak. And now I can
Mhm.
possibly speak. I think that's the biggest reward for a teacher, instant outcome.
Very true.
Other, of
Mhm.
course, you got ASLA organizes debates so often. Law, of course,
Mhm.
that's a routine affair. Participate in a
Right.
debate. We got a wonderful debating society. I was associated throughout. In fact, a permanent judge in that society. At times, I used to tell
Mhm.
the DSW that I'll miss my travel. He said, "Don't worry, I'll
Mhm.
drop you home." So
Mhm.
many times he dropped me home. He stays about 3, 4 kilometers away. Then DSW. So
Mhm.
debate is, I think, is very good than just a mission. And GD need not be in a classroom. Sit together in a group of people, start
Mhm.
discussing, try and speak. So GD, I think, is very, very important in speaking. Then, of course, how to speak in an interview are little more customized solutions.
Mhm. Very
Third is
nice.
reading and
Mm.
comprehension.
Mm.
Unfortunately, after the advent of social media and digital technology, most of us have left reading altogether almost. I
Mhm.
think you have no choice but to read. For students, I tell divide into must, should, could categories. Instead of
Mhm.
committing those notes to your rote memory and trying to score higher marks, try to understand the subject by reading the entire lesson from the book.
Mhm.
You may have to spend more time, but that is how it is. And you'll find in an interview, you'll be able to give a better reply than just that yes and no answer. You'll be able to analyze, understand, critique, give a creative
Mhm.
solution, for example. Read is a must. Personally,
Mhm.
I'm addicted to reading.
Mhm.
There are two books
Yeah.
always on my bedside are from my professional
Mhm.
reading. As of now, I'm rereading, I would say, uh,
Mhm.
Business Etiquette by Sheetal Mehra Kakkar. She writes very
Mhm.
well. And one I recently picked up on body language. Alan and Barbara Peace is the couple,
Mhm.
world renowned, and I've managed to
Mhm.
procure that book. And I love reading that particular book. And of course, since I travel a lot, Singapore libraries are the best. And
Mhm.
the biographies also teacher. And I would recommend anybody wants interested is Walter
Mhm.
Isaacson is the author. and has written on everyone, on Einstein, on Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, in fact, another person commenting on it, written the presentation by Steve Jobs. He made presentation so impactful and yet so simple. The latest I read was Elon Musk biography, brutal, and Dr. Nelson Mandela. I mean, they all good. I love to read. Now, finally, into writing, we all must write. We must, even for my own pleasure, I should write a page every day or a para every day. And in writing, I've been writing a lot of articles, 25, 30 odd articles, primarily for industrial magazines. I was editor also of one magazine called Prof, and also, of course, Mahale.com, when I was Mahale Filters for 5 years. And initial 3 years at MIT also, we had a digital called ME-Buzz. So it gives me a lot of satisfaction. And nobody should say I don't have time. I think one can always find time. Let me share my own style.
Right.
I stay in Gurgaon. Up to MIT took almost above of 1 hour. I had this contact with myself. Up to the toll, I have a notepad with me, and whatever I observe outside, I'll jot down certain points. Over 3-4 such travel days, that will be converted into an article. Because after toll, it was not my time, it was my students' time. Then I started thinking, do I need to speak with a CR today, plan something, certain preparations, or am I adequately prepared, etc. So it was student time, and reverse also while coming from that side. So I think writing, everybody must write. And syllabus-wise, it's a resume writing, it's a corporate communication. I think one can there. So these dimensions, I think, is there, and one must be updated by reading and learning from each other, learning from your team members, learning from your students. So it's a continuous process, never ending.
Excellent. Yeah. So you have given a very comprehensive outlook, I can say, overview of these 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And what impressed me most was your definition of listening. Because so far, even I was, taking it as, like a biological phenomenon or a physical phenomenon. But now you have brought in new perspective to listening. First, understanding should be there. And secondly, understanding with empathy, because you are bringing, socio-cultural values also. So I think this will be a big message to our, young generation, and the significance of this listening, I think, will be getting, many more dimensions, henceforth, I can say, excellent. Very nice, sir. So getting more on applied aspect of communication. Well, I feel traditional communication models are being challenged by the rise of social media, citizen journalism, and the 24 by 7 news cycle. In this scenario, how do you stay ahead of these trends or ongoing trends and integrate emerging communication channels and technologies into your effective communication strategy? Here, I would like to request you to share some of your impactful moments of effective communication on you and others, since you have been in conversation with many stalwarts like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam and others. So please also provide, some specific examples of innovative communication approaches you have implemented or would consider implementing for effective communication. Over to you, sir.
Well, where to start from? Now, you can't wish away social media. You can't make away the AI. chat BG, articles are being written and sort of thing. The authors are quite jittery that where would there be relevance? But I always feel no machine, no technology can ever replace human being, that human touch. And for that, you need not to be any terrific speaker or something that you sway the audience. It is as required by the occasion and requirements of each individual. The students is different. For others, connecting would be different. Since you brought out Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, if you allow me, I can share the experience I had.
Yeah.
And the lesson I got from there was how a person can communicate even without uttering a single word. So he did. Now we come to how I got associated. I'm a big personality like him, very unusual utterance. Now, I've done a long gunnery staff course, which is equated with MTech weapon system, and based on my qualification, I was posted to CVRD RD. A DRDO has got various labs at various places, like missiles are at Hyderabad. That's why Dr. Abdul Kalam is called the missile man also. Then electronics, you got Bangalore, a terminal effect are at Chandigarh. So various laboratories all over India. I was posted to Combat Vehicle Research and Development Establishment at Avadi, which is on the suburb of Chennai. Now, as the name implies, this lab is designed for armored vehicle, that is combat vehicle, which can go like tanks and lighter infantry combat vehicles. I was made project leader for one of such projects called Akash missile carrier. Akash surface to air missile is quite in the news because I think it's Philippines and one more country they are trying to buy from India. We were not associated with missile, but the carrier part. That means a tank-like structure on which that missile was to be launched. Somebody else will fit in later. So I was provided a team of 3 scientists. CVRD's got about 25 army officers and 175 scientists. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, that time was scientific advisor to Defense Minister and thus a boss of DRDO. So once the first hull was ready, we wanted him to inaugurate our vehicle. So that is the background. So we invited him 1989 and sharp 8 o'clock, he landed in CVRD. So he communicated the value of time, of his own time and time for others. You could synchronize your watch. If Dr. Kalam has said 8 o'clock, you can rest assured he'll be there at 8 o'clock. Now, he didn't accept even a glass of water. Straightway, let's get onto the job. The briefing by my boss, I was a major only, by brigadier and above, they carried out a briefing. And then I escorted him to the vehicle which we had created, and we took him to the trial area, normal. Now, thereafter came my part. In a combat uniform and the tank-like structure, I took him to the training area, very undulating, a lot of obstacles around, a lot of dust around. But, you know, he kept asking questions, all right, but otherwise, in the end, he said he enjoyed the ride. Now, after 20 minutes, came back. And thereafter, once task done, thereafter, he was a free man. He interacted with each one, whatever be the level. That's another communication part that you cannot ignore. Another human being, every human being is number one in his own way. And then Tamil, English, Hindi, whatever you want to speak, he was ready for it. So this is one experience I can never forget. And
may I know here which aspect of his communication impressed you most?
Which
aspect of his communication
I would
impressed
say,
you most? Yeah.
I would say the body language, the sincerity in his face, the eye contact made with each one of them, and the tone he maintained throughout. if we take at the communication pie chart, it is only 7% what you say, 38% how you say, and 55% is by other means. And somehow good communicators always connect with the people. You take with certain politicians also, they got a knack of just getting, feeling the pulse of the people. But he was so sincere and natural in his approach, no artificiality whatsoever. And it was there. And then once he said, great job, and we all felt happy. But if you allow me to take the story forward, as also what reflects what I've been into, is on Monday when I went to Brigadier's office, he called me. He made me sit down, glass of water, a cup of tea, etc. and all. I was a major, he was a brigadier. But I could make out he's upset over something.
Okay.
And he said, have you seen the video, what was made during visit of Dr. Kalam? Those days, videography was not so common as today, but yes, videography was there. I said, no, and I don't know who were the people involved. And then he used Hindi and Punjabi, but in a nutshell, what he said was, they think it is their sister's marriage. This is how video is made. I said, I can't comment, but let me see the video. I'll come back to you. Next day, I went with a solution. Rather than becoming part of the problem, went with the solution. I said, you're right. Was still enough material to prepare a 45 minutes presentation out of that CD. And I said, video quality is very good. So we can make a narrative wherein I'll need you to answer certain questions to an interviewer. So I selected a good interviewer. Her name was Lata Swaminathan. She was a scientist, equivalent to captain. And I trained her. And then we had a mutual rehearsal. So it was interviewer interviewing. I never realized that those days that this will be my full-time job in MIT, interviewing skills. But narrative was complete. And after that, I took help. I think a lot of credit goes to Mr. Kenneth Woods. He was my number 2. Together, we produced the video. He used to do the technical part, and I gave the commentary. I had created a narrative and a story, and a full cassette of 45 minutes was produced and given at Hyderabad to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. On the spot, he sanctioned 1,000 rupees each for 7 of us. Now, 1,000 may matter, but 15,000, I don't know what's the price index. To me, those 1,000 meant millions or more than millions, because I can never forget that incident. And we celebrated. So communication, I think, is requirement of the recipient. One should not be forgotten. Communication written also, for example, it's the you concept we need to follow. Take our resume. Most of the time we say, I did this, I can do this, I'm such hero and all. I would recommend, what is the need of recipient, your potential employer? Look from his perspective, put yourself in that shoe, have some kind of empathy for others. So that, I think, is very, very important. And your body language also becomes part of it. Your soft skills, which question you asked is, now, there's a word actually connected with soft power and soft skills. Different terms, but in my opinion, the roots are the same. If I can cover this entire thing here itself. There's a hard power, there's a soft power. Hard power, take example, if I compare 2 countries, America and India, American, I would show up Abraham tank, the most powerful tank in the world, wherein, of course, they got other nuclear arsenals, aircraft carriers, F-35, etc., etc. This will be the hard power of America. If I have to depict a slide Indian, I would take 130 millimeter gun artillery, because when I was CO commanding 31 medium regiment, this was our main equipment and very powerful equipment. Soft power, USA, I'll take example of Hollywood. We all have grown up watching Hollywood movies. Now, of course, the balance is shifted slightly. Taylor Swift is equally powerful. I think she can cause earthquakes also. And I'm not talking only in the metaphorical sense. even the physical sense, it happened that people started tapping together and the earth was shaking. People said it's an earthquake. There's different. India's soft power, I'll put yoga as number one. I feel so good and proud when Yoga Day is celebrated across the world. Of course, India has got so much still to contribute, but yoga, I think, is a good soft power. Universities also provide soft power. Come to soft skill. What is actually soft power or something? That you are trying to obtain something through power of attraction. That is the definition of soft power. Instead of coercion or payment, you are trying to obtain by power of attraction. And soft skills also is the same. By being polite, communicate well. Communication comes on top of the list as far as soft skills is concerned. And soft skills are so important. And the best benefit is today a person gets a job in a credit card company. Tomorrow he moves to a bank. He'll possibly have to relearn certain things. Soft powers are transferable and stay with you for the life. And it also comes in your personal life. If you've learned those basic manners, etiquette, consideration for others, I think your family is happy, your children understand, and in society, possibly you can do better.
Right, right. Well, so जीवन के इतने लंबे सफर को तय करने के बाद आज आप, मैं समझता हूं कि अपने आप में एक स्कूल ऑफ थॉट बन चुके हैं और उसी नाते हम आपसे जानना चाहेंगे योर विजन ऑफ लुकिंग एट इंडिया, ऑल्दो यू हैव डिस्क्राइब्ड अ लॉट जस्ट इन योर प्रीवियस डिस्कशन, क्योंकि आज पूरी दुनिया भारत की तरफ एक सकारात्मक दृष्टि से देख रही है. सो हाउ डू यू विजुअलाइज योर ड्रीम इंडिया? क्या है आपके सपनों का भारत? या क्या लगता है आपको कि आपके सपनों के भारत में ऐसा नहीं, ऐसा होना चाहिए या वैसा होना चाहिए? क्या कहेंगे इस पे आप?
I don't have a straightforward answer for this, but the fact remains, I would definitely like to see India in my lifetime. That's why I do exercise to live longer and see India come up as number one. And I'm not saying that number one in terms of military power and hard power. India has never invaded a country, but Bharat is not getting what it deserves. It deserves much more than what we already got. Go back in history, possibly we were always far ahead of others. So it is a soft power which we need to maintain and take care of the planet and understand our responsibilities. It starts with individual level and thereafter gradually expand what you can give to the society and whatever job you are into it. At personal level, my two areas which I hope I am contributing is, one is education of the underprivileged, and second is saving the planet Earth. We got one after all. In education, when I'm teaching my students formally, well, I'm duty bound to do my bit. Here what I do is every Sunday, 10 to 11 is an open house, this very room. Any child of a maid servant, security guard, माली, धोबी, किसी का भी बच्चा यहाँ आ जाए. आते थे, 8-10 आते थे. अभी आजकल गर्मी है. And my focus used to be on English speaking. Of course, whenever they said maths problem or some other problem, well, I helped them. But I knew where I can contribute the most is their English speaking, and everybody possibly picked up from there. A lot of satisfaction. I described three siblings, Kamal, Hasina, and Jamal. These Kamal, Jamal, Hasina, these three siblings. All of them are earning 25 to 30,000 today. Their mother is still working, never worked in our place, but often we meet and I ask them, Amar Bandhu Keman, how are my friends? And then she described, उसने तो job change कर ली, उसको 5,000 और मिल गए. They make my day, let me tell you. Even at that point of time, that girl got excited with a small chit of a card made for me. He said, the ma'am asked me to read out news in the assembly. Such a big event for a person who couldn't open my mouth once upon a time. So education, I think we can do our bit in some way. Second, these days I'm after a lot of people about this plastic business, pollution, plastic wastage. I go to Mother Dairy, the bread is already in the plastic and still you want a polythene bag to pack. I have that courage of conviction. I don't mind. Let that person think anything. If I am honest with myself, I'll take off. But a lot of things we got to learn wherever we there. Take examples of how Indians behave. I'm sorry, I'm an Indian myself. To the core, to the heart, an army officer. We all queue up. Singapore, of course, the government will put you in a jail if you throw one plastic bag. I'm talking of other countries also. The people take care of the society, a mutual. Try to honk in Germany, they'll give you such dirty looks. Or worst scenario, they'll tell the cop. What do we do? As long as the muck is not in front of my door, I'm quite satisfied with it. So whenever I used to travel, I used to write an article. Things to emulate from China, I went there twice. Things to emulate from Germany. Whatever I picked from there, I put it in writing. And things like good manners. In China, we were, with my children, we were walking to swimming pool. मस्ती में गाने बजाते हुए चल रहे थे हम लोग. सड़क पे भी ध्यान नहीं हमने किया. Zebra crossing तो था. And suddenly we found an SUV driven by a lady. She stopped. I felt very bad. I apologized. But she won't go further. She said, unless you cross, please, give it a smile. I mean, we need to develop those kinds of courtesies and manners. We need to. So I think don't start thinking purely about yourself or your immediate things. I would say, do good, feel good. And it happens. Do good, feel good. Everybody's experienced that. You all have done so much good. Remember, recall the day when you help elderly person cross the road, how good you felt. Your student was running short of money and this was the last day of paying fees. You chipped in with some money and helped for the time being. I mean, there's an example. So do feel, do good and feel good. I think that'll be my
great. Do good and feel good. So after your thoughtful deliberations on life and communication, we are coming to an end of this interactive session. वैसे मेरा मन कर नहीं रहा है आपको जितना सुनूं और भी सुनने का मन करता है but here we shall always remember because you are an army officer so we shall always remember Indian Army for their relentless service to Mother India and you are also an epitome of serving the nation with utmost, I can say, national integrity, as you have also, fought the 1971 war. So, अंत में, normally we ask all our guests to forward a message of peace to create a better human, a better society, a better nation, a better planet for a better tomorrow. But here, I shall request you being different from others, to speak not only on peace, but more importantly, on national integrity and values for our countrymen, so that they could inculcate a better sense of patriotism and national pride. Over to you, sir.
I think in my previous answer, I've given a long answer actually. As a teacher, I'm a little habitual of giving long answers. But yes, I would say do your bit in whatever way you can do. Show identify your roles, and then it helps in time management also, actually. And try to do something good during that week in that particular role of yours. Let me take my example. What are my roles? I'm an individual. My top responsibility is towards me, not being selfish here, but unless I am fit, unless I am employed, unless I got resources, I cannot help others. So I must take care of myself.
Mhm.
The second is I'm a family man, a wife and two beautiful daughters, lovely daughters.
Mhm.
I'm a teacher, and I also stay in a society where, as a citizen, I must play my part. Now, if I decide every week, make some kind of time management wherein I identify certain goals in each of my role.
Mhm.
In my personal, I take inspiration from 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I renew myself, that habit itself called continuous renewal. It
Mhm.
called sharpen the saw. We all seen that story of that person who was sharpening the saw, or rather refused to sharpen the saw because he didn't have time. So we must
Mhm.
sharpen our saw both in all 4 dimensions: the physical, intellectual, social, and spiritual angle. So we must not ignore any of these. The
Mhm.
family, my job, community, I must identify what I can do. For example, I was member of Confederation of Management Professionals.
Mhm.
So I was editor of a magazine. So that had a lot of responsibility to write uh, articles and get articles and edit and all. But here I'll draw inspiration from one of my own articles, the question which you asked. Article is, who is a leader?
Mhm.
When I ask this question, what comes to your mind? A politician? Military leader? Industry leader? Well, they all are leaders. But what I say is, leadership is a choice. Now, this is a message for everyone. Leadership is a
Mhm.
choice. In that article, what I say is that a motorcyclist meets with an accident, lying on the road, no one ready to stop. The cars come and go. Some of them briefly stop to take selfie. No one come help. This is the normal
Mhm.
scenario we notice these days. Then what happened? A bus comes, a senior citizen traveling in that. He stops the bus, gets down, moves to that person, and then everybody follows. In my opinion, he is the
Mhm.
leader. You take Shri Ratan Tata also, when this Mumbai thing happened, he had a lot of resources. He need not stand there. But entire night he was with his families of the members involved inside, trapped inside.
Mhm.
So I think that is where my message would be a leader always and choose to be leader. Leader implies that in every situation, what I can do better that leads to the better results. And that's
Wow.
peace, humanity, everything. I think
Mhm.
that'll be my message.
Indeed, a great message for the mankind at large. Well, sir, we are immensely grateful to you for your scholarly presence with us today. और राष्ट्रीय हित में तथा शैक्षणिक क्षेत्र में आपके उत्कृष्ट एवं सराहनीय कार्यों के लिए लाइफ एक्सप्रेस की जूरी ने आपके लिए एक अवार्ड की घोषणा की है और वो अवार्ड है लाइफ एक्सप्रेस आइकन ऑफ इंडिया अवार्ड, जिसे आप हिंदी में प्रतिष्ठित भारतीय सम्मान भी कह सकते हैं। और आपके इस उपलब्धि पर मैं अपने टीम समेत आपको अपने इंटेलेक्चुअल व्यूअर्स की ओर से ढेरों बधाई देता हूं। हार्टिएस्ट कांग्रेचुलेशन सर। God willing, we shall meet again in some other academic forum. Thank you for connecting with us today.
To
Thank you,
all
sir.
my viewers, Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Jai Hind, sir.
LXP Icon of India Award is proudly presented to Colonel Anil Gulati for his exemplary contributions and service to Indian Army and academia on 4th May 2025.
नमस्कार दोस्तों, हमेशा की तरह आज के IKS सेगमेंट में सबसे पहले हम एक ह्यूमन वैल्यू सीखेंगे और उसके बाद हम एक भारत के पारंपरिक मान्यता या ट्रेडिशनल बिलीफ के वैज्ञानिक कारण को भी समझेंगे। लेकिन पहले हम बात करेंगे ह्यूमन वैल्यू की। पिछला ह्यूमन वैल्यू जो हमने हिंदी अल्फाबेट के जरिए सीखा था वो था वीरता, और हिंदी का अगला लेटर या अक्षर है श। अब आप सोच रहे होंगे कि श से कौन सा मानव मूल्य हो सकता है, लेकिन श से जिस मानव मूल्य का मैंने चयन किया है वो है शांति। शांति एक ऐसा शब्द है जो अपने आप में एक गहरा और व्यापक अर्थ समेटे हुए है। यह केवल युद्ध या हिंसा की अनुपस्थिति नहीं है, बल्कि यह एक ऐसी अवस्था है जिसमें सद्भाव, सौहार्द और कल्याण की भावना व्याप्त होती है। शांति व्यक्ति के भीतर से लेकर पूरे विश्व तक फैली हो सकती है और यह जीवन के हर पहलू के लिए अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण है। व्यक्तिगत स्तर पर शांति का अर्थ है मन की स्थिरता और संतोष। जब एक व्यक्ति शांत होता है तो वह तनाव, चिंता और नकारात्मक भावनाओं से मुक्त होता है। यह आंतरिक शांति उसे अधिक स्पष्ट रूप से सोचने, बेहतर निर्णय लेने और जीवन की चुनौतियों का सामना करने में सक्षम बनाती है। ध्यान, योग और सकारात्मक दृष्टिकोण जैसी प्रैक्टिसेस आंतरिक शक्ति प्राप्त करने में सहायक हो सकती है। सामाजिक स्तर पर शांति का अर्थ है समुदाय और राष्ट्रों के बीच सद्भावपूर्ण सह अस्तित्व। एक शांतिपूर्ण समाज में लोग एक दूसरे का सम्मान करते हैं, मतभेदों को सहिष्णुता से स्वीकार करते हैं और विवादों को अहिंसक तरीकों से हल करते हैं। न्याय, समानता और आपसी समझ शांतिपूर्ण समाजों की नींव है। जब समाज में शांति होती है तो विकास और प्रगति के लिए अनुकूल माहौल बनता है। वैश्विक स्तर पर शांति का अर्थ है देशों के बीच युद्ध और संघर्ष की समाप्ति। यह अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सहयोग, आपसी विश्वास और साझा लक्ष्यों पर आधारित एक ऐसी स्थिति है जहां सभी राष्ट्र संप्रभुता का सम्मान करते हैं और शांतिपूर्ण ढंग से अपने मतभेदों को सुलझाते हैं। वैश्विक शांति न केवल मानव जीवन की रक्षा के लिए आवश्यक है, बल्कि यह गरीबी, बीमारी और पर्यावरण जैसे वैश्विक मुद्दों से निपटने के लिए भी अनिवार्य है। हालांकि शांति प्राप्त करना एक आसान कार्य नहीं है। व्यक्तिगत स्तर पर अहंकार, क्रोध और लालच जैसी नकारात्मक भावनाएं शांति में बाधा डालती है। सामाजिक स्तर पर असमानता, अन्याय और असहिष्णुता संघर्ष को जन्म दे सकती है। वैश्विक स्तर पर राजनीतिक महत्वाकांक्षाएं, आर्थिक प्रतिस्पर्धा और विचारधाराओं के टकराव शांति के लिए खतरा पैदा करते हैं। शांति स्थापित करने के लिए बहुआयामी प्रयास करने की आवश्यकता है। शिक्षा एक महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाती है, क्योंकि यह लोगों को सहिष्णुता, सहानुभूति और आपसी सम्मान के मूल्यों को सिखाती है। और हिंसक संवाद और मध्यस्थता विवादों को शांतिपूर्ण ढंग से हल करने के प्रभावी तरीके हैं। सामाजिक और आर्थिक न्याय सुनिश्चित करना संघर्ष के मूल कारणों को संबोधित करने में मदद करता है। अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर कूटनीति और सहयोग शांति बनाए रखने और बढ़ावा देने के लिए आवश्यक है। अंततः शांति एक सतत प्रक्रिया है जिसके लिए निरंतर प्रयास और प्रतिबद्धता की आवश्यकता होती है। यह एक ऐसा लक्ष्य है जिसे प्रत्येक व्यक्ति, समाज और राष्ट्र को मिलकर प्राप्त करना चाहिए। शांति न केवल एक आदर्श है, बल्कि यह एक आवश्यकता है जिसके बिना एक समृद्ध और टिकाऊ भविष्य संभव नहीं है। शांति के इस विश्लेषण के साथ अब हम आगे बढ़ते हैं कार्यक्रम के अगले सेगमेंट की ओर, जिसमें हम एक भारत के पारंपरिक मान्यता के वैज्ञानिक कारण को समझेंगे। और इसके अंतर्गत आज हम समझेंगे श्री पिंडी की प्रदक्षिणा अपूर्ण क्यों की जाती है, अकॉर्डिंग टू केवी सिंह। आपने देवालयों में भक्तों को देवी देवताओं की प्रतिमाओं की प्रदक्षिणा करते हुए देखा होगा। प्रदक्षिणा के पीछे जो विज्ञान है वह यह है कि जब कोई व्यक्ति किसी जागृत प्रतिमा के चारों ओर घूमता है तब देव शक्ति उसके शरीर में सूक्ष्म रूप से प्रवेश करती है और उसे कष्ट वहन करने की शक्ति देती है। यहाँ ध्यान देने योग्य बात यह है कि जागृत प्रतिमा किसी सिद्ध स्थल की हो। आम मंदिरों में स्थापित प्रतिमाओं के विषय में यह तथ्य सत्य है, इसका दावा संभवतः नहीं किया जा सकता। जहां अन्य देवी देवताओं की प्रतिमा की पूर्ण परिक्रमा उनके चारों ओर घूमकर पूरी की जाती है, वहीं शिव पिंडी की प्रदक्षिणा केवल आधी या अपूर्ण ही की जाती है, जिसका विधान इस प्रकार है। प्रदक्षिणा करते समय बाईं ओर से जाएं और जहां तक अभिषेक की जल प्रणालिका शिव पिंडी का आगे निकला हुआ भाग होती है, वहां तक जाकर उसे न लांघते हुए पुनः लौटना चाहिए तथा पुनः प्रणालिका तक उल्टे आकर प्रदक्षिणा पूर्ण करनी चाहिए। यह नियम केवल मानव स्थापित अथवा मानव निर्मित शिवलिंग पर ही लागू होता है, स्वयंभू लिंग या चल लिंग घर में स्थापित लिंग पर नहीं। शालुका के स्रोत को लांघते नहीं, क्योंकि वहां शक्ति स्रोत होता है। पिंडी लांघते समय पैरों को फैलाना पड़ता है, अतः वीर्य निर्माण पर विपरीत प्रभाव पड़ता है। इससे शरीर की देवदत्त व धनंजय वायु के प्रवाह में भी बाधा पैदा हो जाती है, जो शरीर के लिए कष्टदायी है। भारतीय मान्यता के अनुसार मनुष्य के शरीर में कई प्रकार की वायु होती है, जिनका अपना अपना कार्य होता है। देवदत्त व धनंजय वायु मनुष्य की यौन इंद्रियों से संबंध रखती है। पिंडी लांघने पर मनुष्य को शक्तिपात के कारण शारीरिक कष्ट हो सकता है, इसलिए शिव पिंडी की पूर्ण प्रदक्षिणा नहीं की जाती और यही इसका विज्ञान है। आगे आज के सत्र की समाप्ति मैं फिर एक आह्वान के साथ करूंगा, खासकर कर्नल अनिल गुलाटी की बातचीत से निकले कुछ मुख्य अंश को लेकर। सबसे पहले तो कर्नल गुलाटी ने बताया कि उनके लिए जीवन का अर्थ सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन है, जो कि मनुष्य की क्षमताओं का पूर्ण उपयोग करना है। उन्होंने संचार के 4 स्तंभों सुनना, बोलना, पढ़ना और लिखना पर जोर दिया और कहा कि सुनना संचार का आधार है। उन्होंने कहा कि आज के युग में सोशल मीडिया और डिजिटल तकनीक के बढ़ते प्रभाव के बावजूद मानवीय संपर्क का महत्व कम नहीं हुआ है। उन्होंने डॉक्टर एपीजे अब्दुल कलाम से अपनी मुलाकात का अनुभव साझा किया और बताया कि कैसे डॉक्टर कलाम बिना एक शब्द बोले भी प्रभावी ढंग से संवाद करते थे। उन्होंने कहा कि संचार में 7% शब्दों का, 38% स्वर का और 55% शारीरिक भाषा का योगदान होता है। उन्होंने यह भी बताया कि संचार में नैतिकता का महत्व बहुत बड़ा है। उन्होंने कहा कि भारत की ताकत उसकी नरम शक्ति में है, जैसे योग और शिक्षा। उन्होंने कहा कि व्यक्ति को अपने जीवन में विभिन्न भूमिकाओं में अपने कर्तव्यों का निर्वहन करना चाहिए और नेतृत्व का चयन करना चाहिए। उन्होंने कहा कि व्यक्ति को खुद का ध्यान रखना चाहिए, परिवार के लिए जिम्मेदार होना चाहिए, समाज में योगदान देना चाहिए और राष्ट्रीय एकता और मूल्यों को बढ़ावा देना चाहिए। With those deliberations of कर्नल अनिल गुलाटी, we conclude today's session और मिलते हैं अगले एपिसोड में। Till then, enjoy your time meaningfully और हाँ, अपना और अपनों का भी ख्याल रखें। जय हिंद।